am 26 years old, and I am Mormon, and I am gay. And I was somewhat of a late bloomer, I guess you could say, so to speak. It didn't actually come out till I was 26. I knew for a while, but denial basically was what it was. It was kind of I couldn't possibly be that, you know. But I actually had a friend who could tell, and he pointed out that it was, he could tell that it was stressing me out. And so I had actually was being interviewed by the state presidency for calling my ward, and he started going through the questions, and came to the one about chastity and everything, and he said, well, I just don't really like girls in that way, and he said that's okay, it doesn't exclude you from consideration for any callings, and talked a little bit, and he actually offered priesthood blessing to me, and I accepted, and I don't really remember what was said at all, but I recall how I felt, and I kind of began to be able to accept myself. And later on that day in church, I actually was accompanying the choir for on the organ, and recalled something I had heard. I forget her first name, but Sister Graves on a video I had seen. And I was kind of in this mental state where I knew that my life had changed. I didn't know how it changed, but I just knew that it was going to be different. And yet here I was, and I still could play the organ. My feet and fingers still knew exactly what to do. But at the same time, I was kind of in an extended state of shock, you know. So I continued on, went home from church, everything like that. Later that night at dinner, I you know, had been kind of anxious all day, and my dad could tell that something was bothering me, and so he said, what's the trouble? And I just kind of brushed it off. Wasn't going to tell him, but I knew that I was going to tell him, and I knew it was going to happen soon. I didn't know exactly when it was going to happen or how it was going to happen or whatnot, but I couldn't eat, and that's very unusual. And so thankfully, at the end of dinner, he asked again, and then that's when I told him that I basically had come out of the closet when I was in the interview that morning, and it was actually a very sweet conversation that we had. It was just me and my mom and dad, and we talked for quite a while after that, and I was, of course, an emotional wreck, but it was a very sweet conversation. And then later that night, I sing in a choir, about 300 or so, community choir, and we sing religious songs in general, and basically a Mormon group, a Mormon choir, not the Tabernacle Choir, but, and our director wrote an arrangement of I Feel My Savior's Love, and we rehearsed it that night in choir, and that was when I finally felt at peace with myself and with who I was, and that I could still be Mormon and could still be gay, and that those two things really could coexist. And that was really kind of the first time in my life that I felt completely at peace with myself and at ease with everything else going on around. And that was almost a year ago, actually. I've been out for just under a year. And it's only gotten better ever since. Right now, being gay and Mormon, it's actually great now. I have never been happier in my life. I don't know what to say, but you know, I still go to church, still have my callings, still have my friends. I still have the daily stresses that anybody else has of being a full-time student and having a job, paying for college. But I love life right now. It was a huge burden off my shoulders that I didn't recognize what I was carrying around with me. I didn't recognize the dead weight that I was toting around until I was finally able to admit it to myself. I love life now. It's a beautiful thing, and I can go. You know, I had to become far less judgmental. I'm horrified to think how judgmental I was before. A lot of it, I think, was kind of my way of denying those feelings that I had. I go, you know, throughout my days, like pretty much any normal person, any normal Mormon. I try to be as much of a Christian as I can, and fail all the time, every day. But the great thing about this life is that we can go to bed, and I know that the sun's going to come up tomorrow, and I can try again tomorrow to be a better person.